When the HOA blocked my ranch with a fence, I didn't just open the gate, I turned it into a private toll road. It all started on a sunny afternoon when I returned to my ranch after being away for a few days. As I approached the entrance, something felt off. There it was, a brand new fence stretching across the road that led to my property. It wasn't just any fence. It had been installed by the Homeowners Association, HOA, without so much as a heads up or a conversation with me. At first, I thought, it might be some sort of mistake, but as I looked closer, I realized this was no accident. A sturdy gate blocked access to my land, and there was no way around it. My heart sank. This wasn't just an inconvenience. It felt like an overreach, an infringement on my rights as a property owner. Before we go any further, comment where in the world you are watching from and make sure to subscribe because tomorrow's story is one you don't want to miss. I was furious, to say the least. How could they do this? I pay taxes, maintain my land, and have every right to unrestricted access to my own property. After trying unsuccessfully to reason with the HOA board, who cited vague community safety concerns as their justification, I decided enough was enough. Sitting back and letting them dictate terms wasn't going to work for me. If they wanted to control access to my ranch, then I would take control too, but on my own terms. That's when inspiration struck. If they've turned my driveway into a gated entryway, why not turn it into a private toll road? The idea sounded absurd at first, even to me, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. I contacted a local contractor to help me install a simple yet effective toll booth right at the gate. It included an automated payment system, where visitors or anyone passing through would need to pay a small fee to gain access. Of course, I programmed the system to recognize my vehicle and a few trusted friends' cars, ensuring I wouldn't get locked out of my own property. To make things official, I consulted with a lawyer to ensure everything was above board. Surprisingly, there were no legal issues since the road leading up to the gate technically belonged to me. The day the toll booth went live, I couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and nervousness. Would people actually pay? Would the HOA try to intervene again? I didn't have to wait long for answers. Within hours, cars began pulling up to the gate, their drivers looking confused as they read the bold sign above the payment machine. Private. Toll road, $5 entry. Some honked their horns in frustration, while others rolled down their windows to inspect the new setup more closely. A few even got out of their vehicles to take pictures or argue with me about the sudden change. But no matter how much they complained, the rules were clear. If they wanted access, they had to pay. At first, the reactions were chaotic. One particularly vocal neighbor who happened to be on the HOA board stormed over to confront me. He accused me of being unreasonable and demanded that I remove the toll booth immediately. With a calm smile, I explained that this was my property and my response to their actions. If the HOA thought it was acceptable to block off my ranch without consulting me, then it was only fair that I set the terms for using the road leading to it. To his credit, he eventually backed down after realizing there was nothing illegal about what I'd done, but not before grumbling loudly about escalating the situation. Over time, word spread throughout the community about the toll road. People started planning their trips more carefully, avoiding the gate unless absolutely necessary. Those who needed regular access, like delivery drivers or contractors working nearby, quickly grew tired of paying every time they passed through. This led to some interesting negotiations. A few neighbors approached me directly, asking if we could work out monthly passes or discounted rates. Surprisingly, these discussions helped ease tensions between us. By offering reasonable solutions, I turned potential adversaries into reluctant allies, all while keeping control firmly in my hands. There were moments of humor, too. One afternoon, a couple driving a shiny SUV pulled up to the gate, clearly unprepared for the toll. They fumbled around in their car, searching for cash, only to realize they had none. Instead of paying, they tried sweet-talking me into letting them through for free. When that failed, they resorted to dramatic sighs and eye rolls before finally giving in and using the payment machine. Watching these interactions became a source of entertainment and vindication for me. It felt good to see the tables turned, especially after the HOA's heavy-handed approach. Eventually, the novelty wore off, and life settled into a new rhythm. The toll booth became less of a point of contention and more of an accepted reality. Even some members of the HOA begrudgingly admitted that they should have handled things differently from the start. While it wasn't exactly the resolution I'd hoped for initially, the toll road gave me leverage and forced the HOA to acknowledge my rights as a property owner. More importantly, it proved that sometimes the best way to deal with injustice is to meet it head-on, with creativity, determination, and maybe just a little bit of mischief. This entire ordeal taught me lessons I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. The first and most obvious one is the importance of standing up for yourself, even when it feels like the odds are stacked against you. When the HOA installed that fence without consulting me, it felt like a blatant disregard for my rights as a property owner. At first, I considered backing down. After all, fighting an organization can feel overwhelming, especially when they claim to act in the name of community interests. But deep down, I knew that giving in would only set a precedent for future overreach. By taking matters into my own hands and turning the gate into a toll road, I sent a clear message. I wasn't going to let anyone trample on my rights without consequence. That decision not only protected my property, but also reminded me of the power of assertiveness. Another lesson I learned was the value of thinking outside the box. In moments of conflict, it's easy to fall into conventional patterns of reaction, arguing, complaining, or even retaliating in ways that escalate tensions. Instead, I chose a creative solution that caught everyone off guard. Transforming the gate into a private toll road wasn't just about getting back at the HOA. It was about reclaiming control in a way that aligned with my principles. It showed me that sometimes the best responses to adversity aren't the ones people expect. They're the ones that challenge the status quo and force others to reconsider their actions. Creativity, I realized, can be a powerful tool for justice. Perhaps the most surprising takeaway from this experience was how it shifted my perspective on conflict resolution. Before this incident, I might have assumed that disputes always had to end in compromise or compromise alone. But what happened here demonstrated that resolving conflicts doesn't necessarily mean meeting halfway. It means finding solutions that respect your boundaries while encouraging mutual understanding. Over time, many neighbors who initially opposed the toll booth came to see it as a fair response to the HOA's heavy-handedness. Some even expressed admiration, albeit begrudgingly, for how I handled the situation. These interactions reminded me that communication and fairness go a long way in diffusing tension, even if it takes some time for others to come around. Lastly, this experience reinforced the idea that humor and lightheartedness can soften the blow of serious situations. While the toll road was born out of frustration, it also brought unexpected moments of levity. Watching drivers scramble for change, hearing neighbors grumble good-naturedly about the toll, and seeing the sheer absurdity of the setup brought a sense of amusement to an otherwise tense situation. Laughter has a way of bridging divides, and in this case, it helped humanize both sides of the conflict. It reminded me that even in disagreements, maintaining a sense of humor can prevent bitterness from taking root. Looking back, I wouldn't wish this kind of confrontation on anyone, but I'm grateful for the growth it sparked within me. Standing up to the HOA wasn't just about winning a battle over a fence. It was about learning to navigate challenges with resilience, creativity, and grace. If anything, the toll road became more than just a practical solution. It symbolized empowerment, ingenuity, and the courage to rewrite the rules when they don't serve you. And perhaps next time the HOA will think twice before putting up barriers where they don't belong.